So I am back to do my labor and delivery video in regards to Ayva. This is gonna probably be my first of two because, you know, baby number 2 is on its way. But yes, I figured I would do Ayva's first before I start with pregnancy vlogs for baby number 2. Now, I moved my camera a little bit off of my typical beauty video angle. I figured if this wall interferes with my lighting, it won't be that big of a deal because it's not a beauty video. Whatevs. It will be a lot easier to do videos like this once I'm in my new studio room, which probably won't be done until like the end of March because I probably will take a long time to do it, but hopefully it doesn't take that long. I'm still kind of in beauty video mode because I just finished filming some beauty videos, so just trying to get myself to relax. I don't really know how these videos go. I haven't actually looked into labor and delivery videos, but I'm pretty sure I just tell you guys about my labor and delivery, right? I did a blog post about this on sillysaaammage.com, which is where I typically updated about Ayva throughout my pregnancy as it was happening, or you know, as recent or as close to when I did stuff as possible. So yeah, there was a post about that. So if you read it already, you already know how my labor and delivery went. But all in all, it was easy, and that's just my experience. This is my experience, so don't get too, I don't know, about it, because it's different for every person. It's different for every kid. It will always vary, you know. It's never a set thing. I might have had an easy birth and labor when it came to Ayva, but who knows what's gonna happen with baby number 2. I hope it's the same, or I hope it's similar, because it would be great. I always joked after having Ayva that if I had to give birth every day, I could do it as a job, because it really didn't bother me whatsoever. Ayva was originally due February 10th of 2012. Yep, it was a Friday. So she was due then. And for those who haven't been pregnant, I guess I'm going to keep you guys up to speed a little bit. You are usually due when you are 40 weeks pregnant, which people say 9 months, but really it's a full 9 months, because if you go by how many weeks you're actually pregnant and you like times it with how many months, like if you times 9 with 4 weeks, so there's 4 weeks in a month, and times 9 months, you're supposed to be 36 weeks. So really you're actually pregnant 10 months, like a full 9 to it's just weird how they count pregnancies, but they don't want to tell you that. They'll scare you away if they say you're actually pregnant for 10 months. But yeah, so you're due at 40 weeks, but any baby that is born 37 weeks to 40 is considered full term, because after 37 weeks the baby, they have developed enough to typically survive, you know, being born a little bit early and have no problems, no machines needed, no NICU time needed, etc., etc. So your whole 9th month is 36 to 40 weeks. That's really what it is. So at 36 weeks, I started feeling kind of, I don't know, weird. I had a feeling the whole time with Ayva that she was not gonna be on her due date. If anything, I thought she'd be earlier than her due date, not later. Some babies do go past 40 weeks. I think 42 weeks is the max they let you go before inducing you, because I think after that it becomes a health risk. My niece was actually born a year prior to Ayva, and she was born at 40 weeks, and I was there for the birth. So I wasn't like too like freaked out about it, because I was there like, holding my sister's leg through her birth, and I was there the whole time she was going through labor in the hospital and everything. But she had like a scheduled hospital visit, and she was technically supposed to be induced, but she never actually got induced. She ended up being able like to break like water without being induced and all that. But so I don't know. I was just like, maybe Ayva will make it to 40 weeks. But at 36 weeks, I was just like, I have a feeling. I don't know. I just had a feeling, because she stopped really growing, because they can track the baby's size compared to like an average baby and like how many weeks it really is through ultrasound. And when you're in your 9th month, I think you go basically every week to the doctor. Yeah, you go every week after 36 weeks, like 36, 37, 38, and before that you go every 2 weeks, and before that you go every 4 weeks. I'm currently right now in this pregnancy every 4 weeks. But I had a feeling Ayva just didn't want to be in there anymore, because she dropped early. She dropped at about like 35, 36 weeks, and by drop they mean when the baby like lowers itself towards coming out in the world, and you can just feel like, you can feel the difference typically. I felt it literally when she dropped. I remember it was at night, and I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like kind of freaked out, because I was like, wow, she's kind of she's kind of down there now. It's getting kind of, it's an uncomfortable thing, like, when they're down there. I'm like, hopefully you decide to come out into the world soon, because I don't know how long I can walk around feeling like this. But, I don't know. This video might be a lot of TMI throughout the whole thing, but it's labor and delivery. You can't talk about it in a censored way. At 36 weeks, I started to feel contractions. And there is a difference between real contractions and Braxton Hicks contractions. Braxton Hicks contractions is, like, non-painful contractions. You just feel your stomach tense up, but you don't feel any pain from it. It's kind of like practice contractions, like training wheels, in a way. Like, you know, training wheels on a bike. Basically, it's your body getting ready for the real thing. So I actually started getting real contractions. Prior to that, I had Braxton Hicks for, I think, 2 weeks prior to that. But at 36 weeks, I was getting real contractions. I went to my doctor's a couple of times. I have Kaiser, so I go in the Kaiser and not go straight to the ER all the time, unless I'm obviously giving birth. And Kaiser, like, typically handles everything except for actually giving birth. So I went to them a couple times, and they would monitor my stomach and the baby and all that, and see, like, how far the contractions were apart. And really, like, I was contracting, because I would time it and, like, write it down. I remember I would contract within 10 minutes every contraction. I want to say it was like 8 minutes, and that was starting at 36 weeks. And typically when it's within 10 minutes, it's like, ooh, it's getting close. So a couple of times I went in I think 2 or 3 times, and they were like, yeah, you're in early labor, or the early stages of labor, but because we have no other health risk when it comes to this baby, we don't need to help you get the baby out. Like, they don't need to, like, obviously induce me and give me pitocin and make me have more contractions so the baby comes out. They was like, just let your body do your natural thing, because I did not have pregnancy diabetes. I didn't have a high blood pressure or anything like that. So they're like, there's no reason for us to force the baby out. Sadly, if you're contracting at 36 weeks, we can't stop the contractions either, because it's already far enough along that if you have the baby, it's not going to be that big of an issue. So I was screwed. They literally, like, we can't stop them, because if you have, like, contractions at, like, 30 weeks, they give you medicine to stop it, but they're not gonna help them along either. So I literally sat there from, someone's vacuuming right now. Someone just started. Can you hear that? I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can, but I was contracting from 36 weeks all the way to 38 weeks every, like, 8 to 10 minutes every day. So I don't know, I try to go throughout my day. I really hated it. I was like, come on, Ava, I know you don't want to be in there anymore, just get out already. I tried walking, because walking is supposed to, you know, help make things move along. And because they said I was far enough along that there was no health risk if she was born, like, that day, the next day, or the next week, I was like, okay, I'm walking. I walked at the treadmill. I walked on a treadmill, like, every day for like an hour. I wasn't running, but I was walking at a pretty decent speed to try to make the contractions, you know, help her along a bit. Cause I was like, I don't think she really wants. I had a feeling she didn't want to be in there. It felt really cramped. My belly stopped growing at like 34 weeks, and she stopped growing too. She measured 34 weeks all the way up till 38 weeks. Like, she stayed the same size and the same weight. She wasn't growing anymore. Her foot was up to my ribs. I could feel it throughout the day, and her head was down there. I could feel it like it was coming out of my body. So I was like, okay, she's stuck. She's really stuck. And I'm a really small, like, petite frame. So if she wasn't trying to grow outward, she was trying to get out. And since 36 weeks, I was 2 centimeters dilated. I stayed 2 centimeters dilated all the way to 38 weeks. And then my doctor was like, okay, so it's been 2 weeks, you've been contracting, I feel so bad for you. And they were monitoring me on the belly thing, and they ultrasound her again. They were just like, she's not growing. She's still 34 weeks size. She's still 5 pounds 4 ounces via ultrasound. And she's still at that size. She's been at that size for a while. Because she's not growing, and you are 38 weeks, and you've been suffering, we think that we should just get her out. At 38 weeks, they sent me to go to the hospital and to be induced. And I was like, oh my god, because there's 2 things I was very scared about going into birth. There's such a thing as a birth plan, which is basically like your preference on how you plan on giving birth. I plan on giving birth vaginally or naturally, but I planned on getting a epidural. I did not want a C-section whatsoever, and I did not want to do it without epidural. That's my personal preference. Everyone has their own preference on that. A lot of people feel differently about C-sections and epidurals, but that's what I wanted. And I typically don't have a low pain tolerance, but I didn't want to try it without epidural. And some people want to experience it, they want to feel everything. I didn't. I just didn't. So, I was just scared of being induced because after watching a lot of darn TLC shows and birth shows and stuff like that, being induced looks scary because it's not like natural labor. It's not like your body decided to make your water break and you started contracting. It's medicine causing your body to contract. It's the pitocin, that's what the medicine is called, and it's running through an IV, and it's making you have this baby. It seems a lot scary to me. To me, it's like artificial birth or artificial birthing contraction. It was like really scary to me. But I was like, as long as I don't have to get a C-section, I'll be happy. Because C-sections just take longer to heal, and I don't want to go through that. I don't want to be sliced open, let alone awake when they're slicing me open. I just couldn't do it. That's not me. Okay. Woo. But yes, so they were sending me to get induced, and then we'll fast forward through the boring part, blah, 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 blah. I get to the hospital on January 27th. It's a Friday, because I was 38 weeks on January 27th. 2 weeks before my due date, I get to the hospital at 5 p.m. Mentally preparing myself to give birth. I actually, I packed 2 hospital gowns to go with me, because I got like cute little hospital gowns made on Etsy, which you can do that, and some hospitals do allow you to bring your own gowns and use your own gowns. My hospital said I have to give birth in their gowns, but afterwards, like during my stay or right after birth, I can change into my cute gowns all I want. I had like a pink and brown one with like polka dots almost, and it has a little sash, and it would like sit above your belly, and you can tighten a bow. It's like really cute. And then it has like all the opening buttons so you can breastfeed if you need to, or if the doctors need to get around. Like it's literally like a hospital gown, but a little more secure because it's not open in the back, because hospital gowns like tie in the back and then you're kind of showing a little bit. Mine had like buttons, like, you know, pop out buttons, so you can just like do, 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 do. I had that one. I had a zebra print one with a red sash, and I thought that was really cute. I only have a picture of the zebra print one on with one sash, but I will post a picture of the other one just like as a gown. And I still have both of those. I probably will use them again for this upcoming baby as well. Yeah, so they said I couldn't change my gown yet, so I just put on their gown. I sat there, they started the pitocin, and they pushed the pitocin super slow because I am a smaller person. I was 89 pounds prior to being pregnant, and that day I was 111 pounds. Pretty much, you know, popping out a kid at 111 pounds. I'm a pretty small person, and any medicine that I take usually like has to be cut in half because my body reacts really, really, really fast to medicine. So pitocin, they pushed it really slow. There's a number for it, and it's like how much is being pushed in my body at a certain rate. I don't remember what the like if it was ml or something like that, but they pushed it at a rate of 6, and they said normal people get pushed at like 15 to 20, so mine was really low, but my body was reacting to it so much that they had to lower it to 4 because I was contracting like almost on top of each other. My body never relaxed in between. I just watched TV. I watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians for a couple hours around 10 p.m. So I just literally sat there watching TV, really hungry. I should have ate lunch prior to going to the doctor's because I was starving. I didn't have anything all day, and once you get your pitocin, you can't have real food because you could vomit, and the pitocin can just cause you to vomit anyway, so you can only have popsicles and stuff. So I ate a lot of popsicles, a lot, and I threw up a lot. Well, not a lot. I would say I threw up twice before 10 p.m. So at 10 p.m., I decided to request for my epidural. I was probably at a pain scale of 6.5, but it was starting to get uncomfortable. I could tell that my body was getting uncomfortable. Mentally, I was just like, I don't really like this. Like, I was getting more quiet. I wasn't as social. Because otherwise, I was talking to everyone, and I was like, blah, 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 and just watching my show. But then I started getting a little quiet, and I was like, I'm concentrating on the contractions. And I'm very like, okay, this kind of hurts. So stare at the wall. I literally found a spot in the wall, and I stared at it. And I was like, okay, I heard that sometimes epidurals take a while to come in after you request it, sometimes like a half an hour after you request it. So I just requested mine, and it came really fast. Within like 10 minutes, I had my epidural, and it was given to me. It came really, really fast, actually. I don't know if they just weren't busy or something, but I went to a really, really popular hospital, too. I went to Nova Fairfax, which is a very, very good hospital for NICUs. Really, really, really good for, it's like one of the top hospitals in Virginia. I don't know if it's the top, but it is a really, really good one, and I think it's one of the biggest. So, I don't know. I was like, I know there's a lot of ladies giving birth right now. I could see it all over the monitors, but they got it to me pretty fast. I was scared as crap because I was like, oh my god, they're giving me a shot in my spine, and I already know in my head like all the side effects and like, you know, when if it goes wrong, all this and that. Like I was like, just whatever you do, Sam, just don't move. Just do not move, because you're gonna mess this man up, and and you're gonna mess yourself up. So the nurse on duty, because nurses do like 12 hours each shift, her name was Belle, and I adored her. Belle was short for, I think, her full name. I want to say it was Annabelle, but she is awesome. She was super sweet, and the nurse kind of held me forward as I leaned forward, like, you know, on the bed, and then I got the epidural. I was like hunched over, and Hun Bun was there. They gave him they asked him if he wanted a stool, so they gave him a stool to sit, because supposedly, I guess, the fathers, they tend to faint when they see the needle of the epidural, and they was like, whatever you do, just don't scream, like, don't scare her. And I was like, great, just don't fall over, please don't fall over, because then they're gonna have to help you up, and they're gonna mess up on my epidural, and they were literally like, sometimes that happens. But yeah, so he was next to me, and he was holding my hand, and then the nurse had me, and she was holding me still, so I didn't flinch. The epidural was given. All I felt was a little pressure, and it was a little scary, because I knew, like, the whole time I was like, oh my god, it's in my spine. But it went well, and no problems whatsoever. They taped the little, the wire that goes, like, through to where they gave me the epidural on my shoulder, just in case they had to give me more later on. They don't have to do it in my spine again. And, I had, like, one scary moment, because after, like, they were done, I heard that you will feel the numbness go from your hips down to your toes, like a tingliness. And I did feel that all the way down to my toes. But once it hit my toes, for 1 second, my body like tensed, like the whole thing was like, ugh, and I was like, oh crap, and I kind of fell forward into my nurse's arm a little bit. I didn't fall off the bed, but I was like, oh, for like a good 1 to 5 seconds, and I was like, oh, that was kind of scary. That I remember. That was a little scary. But after that, I didn't feel a darn thing. Epidural numbs you completely. Didn't feel any of the contractions anymore. I was chilling, and I had more visitors throughout the night. The last visitor came at 3:30ish, like it was like all family, all friends, all come in the chat. So now it was 3:30 in the morning of January 28th, 2012. I finally fell asleep. I was not tired. I always have problems, you know, going to sleep. I'm kind of like an insomniac a little bit. The nurse was like, you should rest. You should rest, because you can't eat. Just rest, like, save up your energy for actually pushing the baby out. And I'm just like, I'm not tired. I wasn't tired. I forced myself to go to sleep around 3:30 in the morning. I woke up because I started feeling a tension in my stomach, and I was like, oh, it's really uncomfortable. Like, it was really uncomfortable. I've always had really bad menstrual cramps whenever I was on, like, my menstrual cycle, so I'm kind of used to dealing with pain, but I was really uncomfortable. I was like, this isn't like a contraction, but I could feel it from my belly button down, like belly button down to, you know, and it was like really, like there was like a lot of pressure, and I wouldn't say it hurt, but it was definitely very uncomfortable. And I was just like, I wonder if that means my epidural wore off. So I thought my epidural wore off, so I called my nurse, and I was like, I'm starting to feel kind of like, I explained to her what I was feeling, and I was like, I don't know if like my epidural already wore off, or something, if I could just get a little more, I don't know, or what is this. And they're like, let me check the baby first before we can give you guys, like, you know, anything else. So they have to check how far the baby is up. They do that a lot. And the baby was right there. Like, she said it was less than a fingertip, like less than that distance from coming out, like the baby's head. She was right there. I guess the pressure I was feeling was supposedly the urge to push. Everyone always says it feels like you need a poop. I did not feel like I needed a poop. I didn't have any pressure in my butt. I just had a lot of pressure under my belly button. And I was like, oh, I guess that's what it feels like. At least that's how it felt for me. And I was like, great. So then at 8 a.m. the doctors changed shifts. So the doctor was on its way out. Because they took like 15 minutes like to check the baby and like start prepping things and stuff. So now it's like basically almost 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock, let's just say it's 8. The doctor that was on shift is heading out, and the new doctor who's supposed to start at, I don't know, 8:10 or some crap, is in the parking lot. And the baby, aka Ayva, is falling out of my vagina. That's pretty much how it, like, everything moved so fast between 7:30 and when Ayva was actually born. Like, it literally felt like everyone was always talking to me at one time, and they're like prepping me for something. I didn't even have time to call my family, like my parents or Lynn and Doughboy, her boyfriend, who were literally 5 minutes away at the apartment we were at that time. And it was just like, everyone who wanted to be here for the birth isn't gonna make it. And I was too busy like signing this and like mentally prepping and dealing with focusing on not pushing, because they're like, do not push until we are ready for you to push, because the baby is so close to the baby because it's fall out. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. So I had to focus, and I was just like so overwhelmed. I don't know, Hunbun was just like probably like in the moment. We didn't get to call anybody. So the plan was it was supposed to be Hunbun, my sister, and my mom in the room with me. And that hospital allows like 5 people max in the room. But I just wanted my mom and my sister, because I'm really close to both of them, and Hunbun. I didn't care if, like, I told Lynn if she wanted to be there for the birth, if, you know, if you want to be there and see that, you can be there. But of course I had a feeling she wanted to stand up here anyway. But so I knew she was gonna be sad if she missed it. I was like, crap. But later on, like, you know, like I said, I was in the moment. And then at 8:10 I started pushing. No doctor yet, just with the head nurse, because the baby was coming out. Like, they already like lowered like that half of the bed. I'm already on the edge, and like they said, we're gonna push. And I was contracting every 2 minutes, so I pushed every contraction, so every 2 minutes. And you have to push in 3 intervals of 10 seconds. So they count like 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 10, and they say take another breath, and you go, and you do it again, you hold your breath, and you push, and you're 1, 2, 3, 4, and they do it 3 times until you can breathe again. They count really slow. They're like 1, 2, 3. So I'm like, oh my god. Like, the hard part is holding your breath, I think. Pushing, like, I didn't have a problem with that. Like I said, I couldn't feel anything because of the epidural, so I just pretended like I was pooping. Because they said that's how you're supposed to feel. Like, you're supposed to pretend like you're pushing because it's like the same muscle. So focus like you're pushing. So I made this really ugly face like this. I'll show you guys. And then I did that. As I held my breath, I closed my eyes to concentrate on keeping, you know, myself pushing for that 10-second count and holding my breath. So I pushed 12 times. 2 seconds apart, and Ayva was born. There you go. And I was like, that was it. I didn't feel a thing. No problem. Born. Like, those 20 minutes passed by really fast. Like, they said I looked so relaxed during the pushing that it looked like I was sleeping, because at one point the nurse was like, don't fall asleep on me. And I was like, oh no, I'm just keeping my eyes closed, so I'm concentrating. I'm not asleep. And then Hunbun, he had one leg, the other nurse had the other leg, and then he also had my hand. But I didn't squeeze his hand whatsoever. It wasn't painful to me. I didn't need to squeeze his hand. I wasn't like one of those people breaking someone's hand. And he was just like, yeah, she really, I never screamed. I never did anything like crazy. I was very like, let's just push, because that's what I'm supposed to do. I didn't really break a sweat either. I think it was an in the moment type of thing. So I had a really easy birth and delivery. I mean, it wasn't too bad. It really wasn't. I don't regret getting the epidural. I don't regret anything I did. I wish everyone could have been there, because Lynn actually woke up like 10 minutes after Ayva was born, and we already posted a picture on Facebook, and she came like rushing to the hospital. She was there within 15 to 20 minutes of her actual coming out of my body. And she was like, oh my god, I missed it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. You know, like, everything went by so fast. Ayva was just sliding out. I didn't get to call anybody. And then my parents, who didn't know I was, like, pushing at all, they were making their way from Maryland, who are 30 minutes away. Like, they live 30 minutes away. And they were already on their way over, and they got there within a half an hour of her being born, too. And they were like, you gave birth to her already? Like, because, like, my mom texted me, oh, I'm here. And I was just like, oh, come meet her. And they're like, meet who? And they came upstairs. I was like, and they're like, oh my god, you gave birth already. I was like, yeah, here you go. I won't show you guys the pictures of Hunbun and me and her, of course, because me and Hunbun doesn't like to be shown on. We rarely have pictures together anyway, but of course this was Ayva's birth, so of course we took one. But I'll show you, a picture of me and Ayva when she was born. She was not a crier. She didn't cry when she came out, which of course was a little scary, but she didn't cry really at the hospital at all, and she still, like, throughout growing up, didn't really cry that much. So she was always an easy baby. Easy birth, easy baby, from what I hear. So that was my birth experience that I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about. And I didn't have any stretch marks through her whole pregnancy, but the day I went to the hospital, I forgot to put my my tummy rub butter, like the stuff I would put on my stomach, in oil to prevent stretch marks. I forgot that day, and literally during birth, when her body was coming out and I felt like the pressure from my stomach relieved, I saw the stretch marks happening, and I got tiny little ones, like really, really low from that day. So I was like, crap, how do you go 9 months without any, and then during birth you get them? Seriously. Of course. Happened to me. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about, I guess, the whole crazy experience, and I will see you guys in a later video. Bye.